from the CBS 13 studios as we welcome in the homegirl, Sara Hodges. Sara, what's up, buddy?
Y'all can hear me?
We hear you
Yeah,
fantastic.
what's going on? That's extra money.
Just trying to do what I do with you guys. Like, hey, square up on the square. So I'm in frame. Nothing. I went to the gym today. It was insane because Thursdays I usually train with like all the UFC fighters and I can't breathe and I just look ridiculous out there, but I finished.
Big ups to Lim. Big up to Game Fit doing their thing over there as always.
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody's ODing on me though. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I'll be doing an exercise and like Len like loves to do things like when you look good. Like if you don't look good, he's like not gonna put you on. So like I'm doing the bike, right? And he like goes one angle and he's like, no. And he goes the other angle and he's like, nah. He's like, come on, baby. He's like, you're just gaining weight, baby. Like I can't even put you on camera for this shot right here. Like you gotta do better.
Lim will keep it a stack with you.
Dang.
He'll keep it a stack.
You know what Lim does that pisses me off? Is he'll do the old like trainer countdown, but he'll go like 10, 9.
You have no
8, 7. Fix my phone. It's like, hey,
you're like, we're on 1 10 seconds ago.
like, what are you doing? And you can't say nothing because he'll just say, run it back. Run it back. It's
Today,
worse.
he was like, all right, another set. And I was like, that was 3. He's like, all right, well, I want you to do 4. I was like,
change the rule. It's a good training.
I'll do 4.
Yeah.
What's your your perspective on the Ime Udoka Boston Celtics situation?
Y'all don't want to hear my perspective. It's probably gonna be an unpopular opinion.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
We here for all opinions.
Don't feel like that's really anybody's business. Like I just don't. Like I just think like as they're adults, and I understand from like a franchise perspective that like maybe there's rules and they don't want that going on, but like even I just feel like why are we even talking about this? Like it's 2 grown people who did what they did. It happens all the time, and it's just really not anybody's business. Like I don't know, but like I'm big on that too. Like I'm big on just like keeping stuff in house. Like that's not really business to be spread. Well, us reporting on it, what does that really solve?
But the legal complications that a relationship like this could cause, I think, is what the Celtics are attempting to I don't get ahead of or eliminate, or I'm not really sure how to phrase it, but like I'm sure that's their main concern.
Of course, and that's fine. Like I obviously get all of that, right? Like even here, if we have like 2 people dating each other where it's like a conflict of interest, it's a conflict of interest, right? And then you have to talk about it and you have to fix it, but it like stays within, like I don't know, like it stays in house, like we figure it out. But maybe it was going to come out like maybe it was going to come out and it was going to look worse on them, right? But like I just feel like there's just some things, and like I'm a journalist, right? So like it sounds weird coming from a journalist that some things just aren't our business, and I just like personally just feel like that's not our business.
Well, the other thing about this though, Sara, is you can't hide this. Like if he's suspended for 50 games or a year, you can't say, we're not talking about why he got suspended. Like you can't hide it. This is the gift and the curse of being a public figure. And that
I just think like a year is also just like so wild, but I don't know.
It's a lot, and I feel like and no one likes doing this in the era of Woj tweeting a super vague Woj bomb and then going to bed, but we react immediately. We have no clue what's going on. We have no clue if Ime Udoka is suspended a year. We're going off of one person's information, a powerful person, but one person's information that we have. And one thing that we hate in this era of media or journalism or social media is we don't wait for the story. Like, what's the rest of the story? And I thought Kenny raised a great hypothetical earlier where Celtics may have known about this 6 months ago. It's like, hey,
sure,
Ime, young lady, y'all got to chill. We cannot do this.
Right.
Stop. And they don't. And 3 months later, bro, we got through the fine. We told you. you've got to stop this. It's bad for you. It's bad for the company. Like, we can't do this. We got policies in place. Third time, all right. Y'all didn't hear me though. Rodney Owen, Joe Cooley. So here's what we got to do.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. A whole year? A whole year?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That just seems like a lot. I mean, I'm not condoning it, okay? I'm not sitting here saying like, but at the end of the day, it's just they're two humans, and it's not like it's anything that's so unheard of, or she was disrespected in any way. Like, obviously, they probably fell in love or something, and things happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you're right. Like, if at that point, just fire him then. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case, if you feel so strongly and you were telling him and giving him all these warnings this time, then just say, look, like, you aren't being respectful to what we're saying. So I don't know.
The other thing about that though that I would say from those two, or we're just assuming it's two, maybe, I don't know, from the people involved.
This is a whole sorted affair.
With people involved is, it's two consenting adults. That was their business or whatever the case may be. They're also not dummies. They know the tightrope they were walking. They knew the ramifications if this got out, or if they got found out that this was going on, what could happen. And they still decided, once again, two consenting adults, they made the decision to go ahead and continue to do this, knowing that it's a tightrope, and if this comes out, it could be all bad for everybody. They ran that risk. Seems like they lost, and now they've got to live with their consequences.
Fair. I don't know. I guess we just don't really have all the details, right? Like,
That's the most important.
Like, it's so easy to say like what it should be, but like we don't even have all the details on it. So like we're just assuming at this point, right? I guess for me, like, I just woke up in the morning and I'm like, oh, okay. And everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, dang, like, we're really in people's business like that over them like cheating on.
Sex sells. Where you been? Like,
I'm on here talking about it. It's fine. But
it's a sensational story. It's like, oh, you know what it is? It's different.
Well, it's because he was engaged to.
Right. Yes.
That has something to do with it too.
There is the Nia Long aspect to it too, and we go to war.
That kind of makes it.
We go to war for Nia Long.
Exactly.
I mean, we can change subjects if you want. We could.
No, I don't care. I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm just like going to be like the type of person that's like, we don't really know all the details. I do feel like a year is a lot. I know a lot worse goes on. So it's just, to me, it's just interesting.
There's a lot worse.
Like, I'm not condoning what he did. I'm not saying it's right, any of that. But all I'm saying is, like, this goes on all the time, and in like way worse situations.
Right. So
Sarah didn't know I was about to make a Raiders joke, or maybe she did know I was about to make a Raiders joke. That she was like, "No, we're gonna keep talking about Ime Udoka. We ain't gonna talk about what happened on Sunday. We're gonna talk about everybody's sex life because we ain't gonna talk about what the Raiders did on Sunday."
I was watching Sports Extra after that Raiders. Sarah was.
Oh my God,
she was cross as two sticks doing that show. I felt so bad for Sarah.
It's like the way Kenny and I haven't been on sports. We haven't been with Sarah on a Sunday maybe 2 or 3 times in the last like year and a half, and all I could think of was on Sunday was timing, boy. Timing. Our girl was not having it.
There's fish grease.
You know what's hard about it is that, like, I love the Raiders so much, and it's like I'm a fan, but anyways, that doesn't mean that I can't see the truth and say what it is, right? Like, I just love them. Like, they're my team, right? I grew up watching them. I was from Southern California. We would drive up the coast. We would make a trip out of it once a year to come to Oakland. And I get so much anxiety watching those games. And 9 times out of 10, we're live after those games go on. So I'm like running to the set after I'm sending my highlights, and just like my anxiety and my stress is like, and I have to be like 5, 4.
That's tough to do for a sports fan. Yeah.
It is. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a sports fan, right? So it's like, and I'm a Raiders fan, and I just happen to be working in an area where there's a lot of Raiders fans, and they
Right.
are on our air, and it just happened like that, right? Like when I was in the South covering college football, I don't have a team, so I'm like, yeah, I'm stressed. I want the team I'm covering to win because, you know, I love the people that I'm around, and like if I'm making a relationship with people, I want those people to win, just like I want y'all to win, right? Like whoever that I'm spending a lot of time with and I get to know, but there's not that.
Yeah. So okay, well, let's talk about the Raiders a little bit though. They're 0-2 now. Big game against the Titans coming up on Sunday morning. Can the season be salvaged at 0-2? We all hear the stats, about 0-2 teams not making the playoffs, things of that nature. I still think things can get done even
Oh yeah.
when you're 0-2. But do you just like look at this team and say they have it to turn their season around? Like they have that it factor to turn their season around?
Right now, no. I wouldn't say they have the it factor to turn the season around right now. No. They have the pieces to do it. Have they capitalized off of all of those pieces? No. And, I know that you guys, stick up for DC a lot. And look, I love my quarterback. I do. He's good. He's just not elite. And starting off 0-2 in the AFC West, I'm a little bit worried about him not being a gamer. I just am, and I always have been. I just always have been. And I watch Derek Carr's, pressers after practice. I watch all of his pressers, and he's just like too comfortable with losing almost.
You know who he reminds me a lot of? He reminds me a lot of Tony Romo.
Don't say that.
Tony Romo, don't do that. I love Tony Romo, but Tony Romo never took losses. I remember Tony changed my whole fandom one day when he was like, if they had just, I was so angry the Cowboys lost this playoff game. Oh, if this is the worst that happens to me, I'm doing pretty good. I'm like, why the hell do I care more than he does? Like, if he doesn't care, he was on the field. I was at the house. Why do I care more than he does? Derek Carr got some strong Tony Romo vibes.
We just need to put together a complete game. Like, that's just what I want to see, right? We play good in the first half. We don't in the second. We play good. We don't in the first. We play good in the second. And it's like, you have to put together complete games. Mm-hmm. You can't just, take the foot off the gas in the second half because you're up 20-0.
Right.
And maybe this is a learning lesson, right? But I'm like, I don't know. Like we have some veteran players in there. How is that a learning lesson right now? Like you should already know that. I just, and DC is always just like, oh, we're learning from it. We're learning from it. It's like, okay, but at some point, are we really learning or are we just losing? And we have the Raiders just win, baby. Like, what are we doing? Right. We're losing. We're not just winning. We're losing in a very embarrassing way. And I just went into that game thinking there's no way we're going to lose to the Cardinals, especially just, how they got beat up the week before, right? Mm-hmm. But that was hard.
There's no excuse for that loss. They should have beat the Cardinals, handle business at home, especially when they're up 20-0. Now, I will say this, though. I've heard a lot about Derek Carr and just the Raiders in general. Nobody, and this is unlike what we hear in the sports world and everything else like that. Hell, we've talked about it a lot with the 49ers opponent this weekend with Denver. Any issues with the coach? Like it feels like for the first time ever, the coach did not get blamed at all for blowing a 20-point lead at home. Any issues with the coach at all?
I blamed him. I blame him and DC. I do. I mean, you have to look at the coach giving up a 20-point lead like that. You have to look at the play calls. Like even all we need to do is get in field goal range for the real DC to stand up. That's literally all we need to do. And we couldn't even do that. Like this pass to Hunter Renfrow, what is it? Like second and like two.
Second
I don't know.
Second
and 10, I think. Yeah. I don't know. But it was just like, why? And I don't know, because we're not watching film the way that they watch film, right? Like we're seeing just what we're seeing. Like, I don't know if anybody was open downfield. Like, I just don't know all of the answers, right? But like, that's what we're going for. That's where and And from what I saw, like it looked like he could have had a little bit more time. I mean, just his release was so quick. Like and I know like as a quarterback, right, you want to release the ball quick. Like that's the point. But like, no, like let a play develop. Like, why did we just get it out to Hunter Renfrow 4 yards behind field goal range? Knowing that we're not great.
Sure, it'll get better this Sunday. It'll get better this Sunday. You guys,
it's a loser leaves town match on Sunday.
It is. It is.
And I'm, I'm worried about Derrick Henry just running through us.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it.
Give him the ball a lot
because he's due.
Yeah,
he's due, and he's frustrated. And
I've watched him. He's either due or he's done.
He's not done. I mean, come on. If
that dude has touched the ball like shoot, better than any of us. That dude touched the ball like 400 times in his last year at Alabama.
Yeah,
and since then, it's just keep giving Derrick Henry the ball over and over and over again. At some point, he's not going to be able to do what we love to see from him.
At some point, sure.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not now.
Maybe it's not.
Raiders are winning on Sunday, Sarah. Don't worry. Raiders are winning.
Hey, I'm just excited because the game kicks off at 10 a.m. I'm going to sit and watch from home. I'm going to build my Sunday show, and I'm just going to be a fan and not have to stress about like rushing, on air after that game. And I think it will go better just because of that, because I'm super suspicious. I don't know. I don't know. It's just hard for me.
You're like me. Like you go to sports bars and watch games, or I'm at home. I can't eat while the 49ers are on. People have like their foods and all this. Like when the game is on, when I'm watching the game and people try to fix my plate, I don't want to eat, man. I can't eat.
No. If I walk out and the Raiders score a touchdown, I'm so superstitious that I will literally be like, okay, I can't. I'm going to work from out there. Like that's how bad it is. It's just, if they don't win this week, then I think. And you know what's so hard about it, you guys, is just the buildup of the season I was so excited about this season, and like just coming off of last year, that little bit of momentum that we had, making the postseason. It's just, that's what makes it hard, is like if we like thought like, oh, we got scrubs, like so we'll see, but we don't have scrubs. We have actually really good players, and that's why on the defensive side of things, like I realize like things definitely need to improve, but on offense, like it should be all day.
Yeah. That excitement can die so quick in a football season. It's so short. You have a bad like 2-3 weeks, it's over. Gotta wait till
but
next year.
But that's the thing, is like we'll have seasons where we start out 3-0, and then like so.
Oh yeah, you guys are notorious for it.
Yeah, I'm not like so worried about it. I'm just like, okay, when is this gonna click? I'm just kind of waiting and like hoping that it's this Sunday.
Sara Hodges, CBS 13, Sports Extra, Sports Sunday this weekend. Are you did you launch the Friday night show, the High School Blitz this week?
I watched it. I was watching it on Friday. Good stuff.
It's cool. Like it's so a little behind the scenes, right? Because people don't really get to see what we go through, but like it's crazy because it's just me and then one other guy, Andrew, who's been on the show, but it's going to be Ben this Friday because Andrew's out of town. But like all these games come in at the same time. So like we'll be just kind of just cooling, like getting my 10 p.m. ready, like producing the shows a little bit. And then at like 10 o'clock, there's like 11 videos to cut and like write highlights. And like we're doing that, right? Like people may not know that like I edit my own video, I write my own stuff, I rush on air. Half the time I don't even get to read through it because that's just the way it goes, right? So it's very hectic. But it's fun because you're just like, okay, like I'm just gonna go with it. And if it's, if something happens, like one day, like I didn't even have the video cut. I had somebody else cut it. I don't even know what plays are coming up. I'm just gonna go with it. I don't know these high school kids for the most part, I know some of them because I've been covering them for a few years, but like if they're new, like I don't know them. So it's like it's a challenge, right?
It's Crash TV. That's good stuff.
Exactly.
You guys did good though. I was watching on Friday, man. Y'all did good. Yeah, I liked it. I'll be tapped in again on Friday.
Andrew brings a lot of energy.
He's funny. Andrew funny.
That's good stuff.
So he's cool. He got a little bit of swagger to him. You know what I'm saying? Let's try something.
Yeah.
We'll be tuned in. We'll be tuned in all 3 shows this weekend. We appreciate you, buddy.
And I appreciate y'all's support. Seriously.
Always. It's always love, man.
We'll see how your 49ers do. You got your Playboy back now. Playboy back now.
We're gonna help y'all out. We're gonna get Denver out the way. We got you.
Let me ask you.
Get themselves out of the way. We don't even gotta worry about that.
Let me ask you something before you go. Where do you fall in this? 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo starting quarterback. Yeah. Better off than they were?
Oh, for sure.
Wow, I didn't even get the other options out. Jesus. Well, I'm really alone on this. Like everyone says.
Let me tell you why.
With you.
I think that there's a ceiling with Jimmy G, right? Like I feel like over time Trey's could be the better quarterback. But this season specifically, they're better off with Jimmy G. I mean, we watched it.
I don't know. Okay. I think they're the same. I think they're the same.
You're the same as last season, or the same as before? Like
I think the trajectory is the same.
Yeah,
for this season.
You're saying with Trey Lance under center versus Jimmy G under center, they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I disagree with that.
Yeah, everybody does apparently.
Yeah, I disagree with that. They're just not the same. Like it's hard. It's hard to really judge that, right? Like we have one really game to judge that off of, but like. You have somebody who's proven versus somebody who's not. So like, is that not easy to say?
Well, no, for sure. But I think with us, there was probably a certain level of projection with Trey Lance. And I also don't think we're romanticizing Jimmy Garoppolo. And I feel like a lot of people are. Like we were here. D'Lo and KC existed last season when people were cussing out Jimmy Garoppolo because of the incomplete pass that he threw or the interception that he threw. And then this year, it's like, he'd never do that.
We know that also, like Derek Carr, Jimmy G is not a gamer. Like he's just, he has more playmakers around him that make him better, right? Like
yes.
And I'm hoping
he's composed though. I feel like Jimmy's really composed.
He is composed and I wish that I would see DC go a little bit more in on his offensive linemen and show a little bit more emotion, get a little bit more pissed off. I know that's just not him and that's fine, but like you said, like if I care more than you, like, and maybe he does, right? Maybe behind closed doors, he's getting in on those guys and he keeps it in-house, which I respect that because I'm a big in-house person. I am I am not big on belittling people in front of the masses to get your point across. Like you don't have to always do that. Right. But like, I just want to see a little bit more fire in Jimmy. I think y'all are better off. I just do. I'm sad for Trey. It's terrible. I mean, you would never want to see that, right? Like it's gut wrenching, but I think y'all got a chance now.
I had us going to the Super Bowl either way, so ain't nothing changed with me.
Nothing surprising about that. I was going to play quarterback, and Kenny had the 49ers going to the Super Bowl. Sarah, we appreciate you. 11:15, High School Blitz of Sports Extra following football, and then Sports Sunday.
Yeah, no Sports Extra this week.
Boo.
But we do have Sports Sunday, so that will come on at 11:30, and we'll have Raiders and Niners and Republic FC doing their thing now that they haven't been dealing with that, U.S. Open Cup tournament run. They've been just balling, just embarrassing folks in the U.S.
Smashing them boys.
I just hope that continues because I love Coach Briggs, y'all. I'm a huge
cool dude. He's cool dude.
Cool. He gets fired up. He gets in on his way.
Got a vibe.
He talks mess. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Got a vibe.
I grew up with all brothers, super competitive. Just I'm used to that.
Sarah would have that fire that she's asking DC to have.
I feel like I would be a really good coach. I'm going to be honest. I do. I wish I understood, I'm not there, but I just feel like in general, I thought I was going to be a coach. That was my dream. I was going to be, a girls basketball coach and work my way up, but I didn't. I got into broadcasting and I love it. But I feel like I have it in me. I feel like I can motivate folks and get on them, but still love on them.
This is my 4th attempt to send the show to commercial. So at Sarah Talk Sports. Sarah Hodges. Chris Peterman joins us next here on Sacramento Sports Leader ESPN 1320.